Well, thanks for having us. We are clearly Canadian, and as you just said, we are the OG of sparkling water. I am going to have Casey Howe, who's the CMO for Clearly Canadian, give a little bit of the backstory about who we are and where we've been and where we're going.
Great. Thank you so much, Adrian. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much for spending some time today to learn about one of the most iconic and beloved brands out there in beverages, Clearly Canadian. As Adrian mentioned, we're the OG of flavored sparkling water. We started the $3.5 billion category that exists today. And I always say that I've never seen a brand perform like this, and I've never seen a brand with such amazing consumer affinity and desire. And that's why I'm here leading the charge at Clearly Canadian. I was also the kid that used to ride my bike to the store, get a bottle, and feel so cool. Because Clearly Canadian's always been cool. We were always part of pop culture, featured on many shows in the 90s, Friends, Seinfeld. We were actually a $280 million business in the 90s, which is about $1 billion brand in today's terms. So a lot of love. We were distributed in 18 countries. And, everybody asked what happened to Clearly Canadian. Well, in short, the previous company made some mistakes. So they lost their distribution network, they mismanaged the P&L, put the brand in plastic, did a bunch of things that we've learned from in the history books. But all because of the love of our fans, Clearly Canadian came back with a vengeance. So way back in 2013, 2015, we knew that there were so many fans that wanted their beloved, iconic, Clearly Canadian back on the market. And so we did a Kickstarter Indiegogo online crowdfunding campaign. And we actually sold 40,000 cases in 35 countries, every single state in the US, every single province up here in Canada. And many celebrities like Drake, Ryan Gosling, etc., jumped on board and bought cases. Now, those fans had to wait about 2 years and they paid $40 a case. But when they got their product, they were calling us, emailing us, texting us, and saying, "Thank you so much. I'm so glad that my Clearly Canadian's back here for people to enjoy." So we're the comeback, we're the OG, but we're also the comeback kid. And we have quite a story behind it. But we always say it's all about our fans. We don't call them consumers. They're really fans because they're fanatical about this brand. I can't even tell you the texts, DMs, emails, handwritten letters that I get every day, hundreds of them from around the world. And, some of them actually make me cry because they tell these beloved stories about these connections that they have with the brand. And this is the brand that I used to have with my grandfather who passed away. And every time I have a bottle, it reminds me of him. So this is a brand that's entrenched in the minds of our fans all around North America. And these are just a couple of examples of some recent activations that we did with our brand ambassadors in Chicago, Houston, Atlanta, to really let them know that we're back and let the new generation try Clearly Canadian. Our consumer is also quite diverse. So we skew a little bit more African American Hispanic, but we have our what we call our legacy consumer, Gen X plus, folks like me who grew up with the brand and love it. But also, we're actually recruiting millennials and Gen Z. And in our data, we see that we over-index across that Gen Z millennial population because we have a real story. We're an authentic brand with a message. We care about the environment and we have an ethos behind us. So we always say water is good, plastic is bad. We've learned from the history lessons. We're only available in our iconic blue glass bottle. And we just launched cans, our new can portfolio to really help provide better value for consumers and have convenience and portability and just give them a better value option. But what we're all about is really summarized on this page. So we say clearly it's our water that makes us so unique and flavorful because we're only sourced from natural Canadian spring water from aquifers in the heart of Canada. So our own proprietary spring that we own is Canada's most awarded spring, one of the most awarded in the world. It's in the grassland regions of Canada next to the Great Canadian Shield, northwestern Ontario near the Manitoba border. And it's this amazing grasslands with natural filtration. So our water is filtered through sand, clay, gravel, dolomite, granite, and eventually hits our first aquifer. But we have this massive double layer aquifer. So we actually source water from about 500 to 800 feet down in the ground. And really, it's an award-winning water. But also, we're Canadians, so we have an environmental ethos. Like I said, we're only in recyclable or return for refund materials. We're anti-plastic, but we're really about having the best taste out there. And when our fans describe Clearly Canadian, and hopefully a lot of you have had a chance to try it, it's a whole experience. The twist open of the bottle, you watch the bubbles rise, the nose that you get, which is full of this natural fruit taste, and then the actual taste itself, which is this just amazing full natural fruit flavor. It's unlike anything else out there. And what we find is we actually source a lot of consumers from soda. About 80% of our consumers come over for soda because we give them that bold, full taste that they're looking for, but with better, all natural, clean, simple ingredients. Also, it's about our values. Being Canadian, we're about inclusivity, kindness, diversity. On the bottom of our bottles, we actually have good thoughts, good words, good deeds printed on the bottom of every single bottle, and it's something that we live by. Also, we give back to our communities. So we have our Clearly Community Challenge, which supports other local startups because that's how we got our reboot into the world. But we donate to food banks, Black Lives Matter, different causes. We've actually put a well in an Indigenous community for folks that didn't have safe drinking water. So we really care about our communities and the things that are important to our fans in those communities. And last but not least, it's all about our fans. We listen to our fans, we talk to them all the time. We actually poll them to ask what flavor they want to see next. We're back in cans because our fans said, why don't you have a can? It would be simple, it's still environmental, it provides better value for me. So we're always listening to our fans. And as I mentioned, it's really all about our taste. This brand is full of natural fruit flavor, sourced from award-winning Canadian spring water. There's really nothing else like it. But back when I started on Clearly Canadian in 2020, we only had 4 bottles with 4 different flavors. So we built out an entire portfolio. It's all about our iconic blue glass bottle, which is our #1 priority. But we've launched what we call our originals, which is the same flavors, same bottle from the 90s, also in can format, multi-pack format. We've also launched a new zero sugar lineup, and that's naturally sweetened with stevia. So it still gives the full natural fruit taste that you would expect from Clearly Canadian with 0 sugar, 0 calories. And we have our new Essence lineup. So Essence is unsweetened. It's only crafted with our award-winning spring water, bottled at source, and natural fruit flavor. That's it. So now we have a portfolio of formats. We have a portfolio of different sparkling options for all of our fans out there.
I'm going to jump in for a second and just say, if you can see my can actually has the graphic of the bottle because the bottle really is iconic to the brand. And it's something that when we were introducing cans, I was getting emails and phone calls saying, "You're not getting rid of the bottle, are you?" And I said, "Look at the can. That's, the bottle's right there." So
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up, Adrian. Our bottle is our key, marketing asset, we believe. It's what makes us unique and different and really stand out on the shelf. But this is how the whole portfolio comes to life. So on the left, we have what we call our originals, the same recipes, same bottle as the 90s, available in our singles glass. We have 5 core flavors across the portfolio: mountain blackberry, wild cherry, orchard peach, summer strawberry, and country raspberry. All of those fruits grow well in Canada. All of them are pretty unique and distinctive in the category. So we've also expanded our originals with our 6-pack sleek cans. So we have the cans available, and we also have our glass available in 4-packs. So 4-pack multi-packs for consumers to easily make it more convenient and provide a bit more value. And then on the right-hand side of the page, we have our zero sugar lineup and essence lineup. So zero sugar we have available in our glass single bottle, of course, and we have it in our can as well, in 6-pack sleek cans. So that is sweetened with stevia, still gives a really nice, full fruit taste, but 0 sugar, 0 calories. And then we have the essence lineup. So we have our sparkling unflavored mineral water, which is just right from ground to bottle, award-winning We also just added a bit of fruit essence to that. So we have a grapefruit, which is actually crafted with a pink grapefruit and white grapefruit. So you get the nose and palate. And we have a limon, a really nice lemon lime blend. So I also do all of our innovation here. I'm really proud of all of our sparkling offerings that we have here at Clearly Canadian for consumers. But we're so much more than just a flavored sparkling water. I mean, obviously, we're great on its own, but because of our full natural fruit taste, we make a great mocktail, a great mixer. As I mentioned, we source 80% of our consumers from soda. So we're a great soda alternative. We're all about easy entertaining. I always say take our mountain blackberry, throw a shot of gin or vodka in it, a sprig of rosemary, and a couple of blackberries, and you have an easy peasy cocktail. So it's great for hanging out with friends, different occasions, tailgates, dinner dates, at fine dining with our on-premise play with our sparkling and our essence portfolio, or really anytime. It really suits any occasion because clearly it's our water.
Speaking of that, Casey, just for everyone who is here and everyone who's viewing this, reach out to me. I have tons of recipes for mocktails with dry January coming up. I have tons of recipes for signature cocktails where Clearly Canadian is the base of these cocktails. We have all sorts of different entertaining ideas, tailgating ideas, all of that type of stuff. It's a fun brand and there are so many cool things to do with the flavors.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adrian. So I also want to mention that we're affiliate friendly on all of our online retailers. So we're on Amazon.com, Amazon.ca here in Canada as well, Walmart.com. We're also on Instacart, GoPuff. But we're also in 36,380 doors roughly across North America. So we're in most major retailers like Kroger, Publix, Albertsons, Safeway, all the Ahold Delhaize banners, regional chains like Meijer, HEB, Target. We're up in Whole Foods Canada, Basha's. We're distributed on GoPuff, which has been huge for us. A lot of millennials and Gen Z are shifting to GoPuff. We just got expanded into Walmart, and we're also at Costco and Sam's Club coming up with Sam's Club October, November, December. And then here in Canada, we're also at Loblaws, Sobeys, Shoppers Drug Mart, many different retailers. We also do have a store finder on our website, so you could easily search for a store that's convenient for you. But as we say, bubbles aren't boring. So that is all that I had in terms of sharing just a snippet of what we've been up to at Clearly Canadian. Like I said, this is a fun brand, unlike anything else out there. We have a great story, we have a very storied past, but a really bright future here at Clearly Canadian. We're growing strong, getting new distribution. We're going to be doing some amazing marketing stuff coming down the pipes for next year. So I'd love to open it up to any questions and also say thank you to Adrian for setting this up and being our PR champion all along at Clearly Canadian. But would love to open the floor to any questions.
Wonderful. As you were presenting, we had some questions filter in, so I'll go ahead
Great.
and read those off as more come through. So first and foremost, actually, it's a question from myself. I was curious how much sugar is in your traditional line.
So our traditional line is 90 calories, where some of the SKUs are at around 80 calories. So it's about half of what you would have in a soda in terms of the amount of sugar. So it's about 20 grams to 24 grams.
Okay, still very, very reasonable. From
Yeah.
Beeb, we've got, you mentioned you've expanded the line to include more flavors. Do you have any new flavors or varieties in the works?
I've got lots of stuff in the works. So our focus this year is really launching our cans portfolio. So we have a goal to get into 75% of grocery. But we just launched our summer strawberry in cans as well. We're expanding and growing our zero sugar portfolio and essence portfolio. It's in quite limited distribution. And actually our essence portfolio, we're looking at also having it available in glass and 6-pack cans in the future. So that's something that I'm working on as well.
That would be great. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Trying to see, here we go. Another question kind of about the flavors, incorporating new SKUs. So from Jody, she has, there's nothing like drinking out of a glass bottle, which I wholeheartedly agree with. How
Yeah.
do you maintain the same flavor in the cans?
Can I jump
Yeah,
in,
so
Casey? I'm sorry.
sure.
That was when I've been working with media, that's been a big question that they've been asking. And I had a lot of media folks a bit skeptical about whether we could pull it off in cans the same way we have in bottles. And you should read the stories and read the reviews and everything else. Casey can go more into detail, but you know, from third parties, not us, they're saying we hit it out of the park with it.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Adrian. I was going to say the same. I mean, so far we've had absolutely zero complaints about the flavor difference between our cans and bottles. We work really hard. It's a slightly different process when when you're bottling versus canning in terms of the process for carbonation. But we worked really hard to make sure that first of all the recipe is consistent, but also that we have the same mouthfeel and texture to the carbonation. Um, it is always a little bit more carbonated in cans. It's just the nature of it because you need that carbonation to pressurize the can to prevent it from actually crumpling when it's on a pallet or stacked in a warehouse. So it is a slightly different process, but we worked really hard. And so far, all of our consumers, all of our customers and distributors that we presented to, we do blind taste tests all the time, glass versus can, and they really can't tell the difference. Now, to your point, Haley, there's, the ritual of drinking out of a bottle, which feels so much more premium and special. And that's why our glass bottles are not going anywhere. We're still absolutely focused on glass. It makes us unique. It stands out in a sea of cans. We just want to have different choices out there for our fans in terms of providing better value with cans because it's a 50% price slope versus our glass bottle. And it's a little bit more convenient and opens up new occasions, like at the beach, by the pool, on the boat. So we just want to have options for everyone.
That's a great point. That leads me to another question we've got. What are your price points?
So it varies depending on the retailer. We don't control retail pricing, obviously, but we average around $2.69 for our single 11-ounce bottle. And then our 6-pack cans are around $6.99 to $7.99 for a 6-pack.
Thank you. Very helpful. Another question. This one's from our very own Allison Dutch. How did the company start? Is there an interesting founder story?
Yeah, I mean, the original company, so to go way back, Gord Sim and Doug Mason, the two original founders of Clearly Canadian, they actually had a hot spring in British Columbia in the heart of the Rockies in Canada. And so they had this amazing spring water source and they just started experimenting, putting fruit infusions in with their sparkling water and serving it to guests. So they found that it just started really catching on. And then the whole notion of Clearly Canadian was built around the insight of wouldn't it be great to have a new age beverage that is the bridge, or, at the time there wasn't flavored sparkling water, don't forget. So something that was the bridge between soda and at the time unflavored sparkling water. There was really nothing in that space. So they set out to launch Clearly Canadian in a unique package with unique flavors from award-winning Canadian springs. So all the attributes that made us famous when we started still make us famous today. And Doug Mason was actually a baseball fan. So you can't, oh, sorry, you can't see with my background, but if you hold the bottle in your hand, it's almost like holding a baseball. So that's why the bottle shape is the way it is, because he was a baseball fan and wanted it to feel like you were holding a baseball.
That is a very fascinating tidbit. I've always been curious about the shape of the bottles. So fun little
Yeah, they're
tidbit.
not easy to produce, I can tell you that much.
Are those founders still involved?
No, they were part of the previous legacy company. So now it's a new team of us. All of us on the leadership team put our own money into this. We're privately held. We all have equity. We're in it to win it, but also we really want to grow Clearly Canadian to be famous again and do the right things for the brand for the long term. So we've definitely taken, a history lesson from the pages of what happened in the past, and we never want those mistakes to happen with Clearly Canadian again. This brand is too iconic, too special to our fans, and we're in it for the long term.
We love that. And as the OG Seltzer, do you guys have any patents or trademarks? Allison is also curious about that one.
Specifically around the OG or
Just around Clearly Canadian in general. You guys have been around for so long, I imagine. We're curious if
yeah,
there's anything.
I think I have about 250 different trademarks, pretty much almost every word involving clearly. So we have a lot of clearly Canadian trademarks in the past. The original sparkling water is not one because it was hard to get trademarked, but we have our clearly Canadian originals trademark, the original, obviously zero sugar essence. We have our Springs trademark. We actually have a patent on our bottle design and
Very cool.
trademark on that. So, and then I have a whole list of innovation trademarks out there that we're exploring.
That's amazing. Trinity is curious what each of your favorite flavors are.
Well, that's always a tough one because
And
they're all,
glass or can?
yeah. Okay. Well, so I created all these flavors, so they're all like picking my favorite child. Um, but I have to go with, I really love blackberry. I mean, it's classic. I grew up on it. Another one that I have in the hopper that's not launched yet is Western Loganberry, which was one of my favorites growing up. I really love the summer strawberry, new one that we have. It's just such a real natural strawberry taste. And I have to say, I really am loving the grapefruit essence that we did because I put white grapefruit in, so you get the acidity and crispness on the palate, but I put pink grapefruit in as well, so that you get a nice nose. Because a lot of other flavors from other brands use one or the other, and you're either missing the nose or the palate. So I think we really knocked this one out of the park as well. But I love them all. Depends on the day.
That is a very great answer. Very well said. Adrienne, what about you?
Well, I am an Essence fan and I am also a Zero fan. And it's really hard to say which flavor is my favorite because I love all of them. And depending on the mood, the time of day, what's going on, I'm gravitating towards different flavors. I'm drinking right now the cherry, which when I've been talking to folks out there, it's one that people are always asking about. I've got forest blackberry right here. And I've got a fridge filled with every single flavor, both with sugar and zero. And it's hard to pick. And,
Love.
one other thing that Casey didn't bring up, we talked about fan love and we talked about the fact that we wouldn't be back if it weren't for our fans. That crowdfunding campaign was probably one of the most successful crowdfunding campaigns ever.
Wow.
Casey had said 40,000 cases, all provinces across Canada, every state in the US, 35 countries. That being said, can I tease this a little bit, Casey, about the merch?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, well, for those of you who are working on different gift guides throughout the year, we will have the ultimate collection of merchandise for the clearly Canadian lover in your life. And we're going to be launching that a little bit later this fall, but anyone who's interested can reach out to me and I can work with you to get you some teasers and some ways to promote it before it actually fully launches.
Very, very exciting. Beeb just dropped a comment. Oh, that's great timing. I'm working on our 16th annual holiday gift guide currently. So we'll make sure that after this, you two get in touch.
Awesome.
Perfect. And with that, we've got a few more minutes. We'll give it about another minute for maybe some straggler questions or comments to come through. But just wanted to thank you, both Adrienne and Casey, for the presentation, your passion. I can feel it all the way from Florida. So just a really great, presentation. We're happy that you're here. Reporters, reminder, you can find their product showcase on media and merch. You can request samples and press releases there. Also get some more information about what they're up to that might not have been in this presentation.
Great.
And then I think Allison, who also happens to write cover stories for Inventor's Digest, just has a couple more questions about the patent. Do you have any patent specifically on being the first in the category?
We do not, to my knowledge. I'll have to go back and double check that. But I mean, we certainly have the history logs and all the data that we were the first to market in the sparkling water category.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, with that, we will see you guys soon, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having us. Sorry.
Have a-
it's-
Bye.
Thanks. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Ciao for now.